Hey, everybody, and welcome to Justice for Hire's Tai Chi to the People. Justice for Hire, if you don't already know about it, it is a show we're producing with the community, and anyone can join the cast from justiceforhire.app and become part of the cinematic universe and get their character that they play and create in the show. We also do these training sessions once a week, Tuesday nights. Apparently we've been doing this for about a year now. Today might be the year anniversary. It might have been last week. Either one is auspicious because a lot of great things are happening, and you can check out wefunder.com/reelworld, REELWURLD, to see some of those great things that are happening with the tech studio that we've built that's producing our show. So that being said, we do this every week, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. EST, 5 p.m. Pacific time. And it's always a pleasure to do this. I'm Coach Jan. I coach the U.S. Tai Chi Push Hands team. And sports Tai Chi push hands is a huge part of my life. And, especially in the last few months, we're getting a lot more people interested in what sports Tai Chi is, a lot more dialogue going on. And sometimes people say it's not Tai Chi, but what we're training here is Tai Chi, and it's very much foundational to be able to perform at the world-class level as an athlete and move and do these types of wrestling experiences. But it all comes from slowing yourself down, speeding up your perception, doing the breath work and visualization that's required to gain strength in this unique strength that Tai Chi provides. So that said, for the last few weeks, we've been doing, actually two things. Before I say the last few weeks, one, every week we donate we dedicate our training to a particular organization. It's a noble cause. So this week and last week have been for Everytown, at Everytown, which promotes gun safety across the nation. Super important, gun safety education, etc. I think it's a really, really important thing. I personally believe that the body's the first weapon you need to learn how to utilize, and then you start expanding from there. So I honestly believe that if you have a gun and you're not a martial artist, like, we need to change society so that doesn't happen. You should have to train first, physically and mentally. That being said, that's a personal perspective. And every week that we've been on here for the last few weeks, we've been dedicating to a different cause. And you can always donate directly to that cause. At Everytown is on Instagram, and you can just donate right to them. Next up, we are working on the 12 yin set of negong from the Wu style of Tai Chi. Negong is like breath work. It's breath work and visualization. It is a particular intention strengthening exercise, willpower strengthening, lots of circulation and health benefits as well. But this negong, we are doing the final exercise of the 12 yin set, and that exercise is called Elephant Swings Its Trunk. And I'm very excited to share this because I normally do this in passing with students, and it's not something that in a detailed manner I've gone into with many in many occasions at all. I have the details from my teacher. I've worked on the details myself, but most people don't ask the details, and I normally don't spend too much time on it. So today we're going to do a deep dive, and it's going to be great. So that said, let me see if you guys can see me, because I got this hat on because I didn't want to do my hair today. That's why I really got the hat on. So that being said, palms facing straight down. Imaginary string lifting you from the top of the head. The whole body should feel like there's relaxation cascading down. You want to engineer these sensations in your body. So you lift the imaginary string up, and then you start to feel the relaxation, softening the muscles on the back, but it also affects the front because the spine, rib cages are connected, and all the way down. And look at my tailbone. My tailbone is going to soften. You see that right there, and the tailbone drops. So that means that the tension, the little flex, the lower back, the suspension bridge function of the back, I'm softening that, and it falls straight down. When that happens, look what happens to the hip. Boom, the hip starts to become like a balanced bowl of water, filled to the brim. You don't want to spill it in either direction, so any direction. So you just drop down and maintain that wonderful posture. And all the breathing will be to the belly, the lower dantian. about 3 finger lengths below the belly button, or 2 inches. Mouth closed, tongue in the ceiling of the mouth. And you're going to inhale. See the breath gathering in the belly. Give the sensation of breathing a color. And you're going to exhale, wash that color down the arms, the palms, and fingertips. Inhaling deep. Exhaling down. Inhaling deep. Exhaling. Inhaling deep. Exhaling. Visualizing the breath pushing down the arms to the palms and fingertips about 1 inch or 2 beyond. And while you're doing this, once you get that rhythm going in the breath, you want to start to scan the body, which means that the mind starts to move away from the process of breathing. You keep the breath work going. Where you start to scan, gently scan. We can compare the breathing to what's called the sattvic thought in yoga. The sattvic thought is the background thought. It's as if there's a song that you can't get out of your head and it keeps on playing. So you want to have a thought that keeps on playing and automatically, and that's what's this breath work is going to be. So you make this, you decide, the way you make it is you make the decision that this is going to be your background thought. It's going to keep going while the attention expands to other areas of the body. And you start to look through the body. You start to move from head through the rib cage, the chest cavity, the abdomen. Looking deep into the belly, feeling the organs, feeling the bones, even deeper into the bone marrow, to the cells. You want to just soften. Anywhere you might feel blockages, have the intention of softening. If you find that difficult, the bridge between that tension you might experience or feel and the actual releasing of it is we can engineer that physically through inhaling and visualization. See the color gather in your belly, and then exhale, push that color, visualize it driving to wherever, from the belly to wherever you feel it in the body, where it needs to be released. And you program that color to enter that area of the body and melt away the tension, melt away the blockage. So you're sending specific signals to that area of the body. Very intentional thought. And then once you're done scanning the body, exhale, drop the hands down. Inhale, your breath gathers in the belly again. Exhaling, pushing the color to the palms of the fingertips. That was gilded pillar. This is uplifting heaven. Exhaling down. Inhale, drawing the color in from the arms into the belly. Exhale, pushing the color out from the belly to the palms and fingertips. Even down the legs. Breath 2. Breathing formula number 2. Inhaling up. Intensify even deeper. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Breathing formula number 3, inhaling up. Exhale, wash the color out to the palms and fingertips. Inhale, drawing in. Stage 1. Deeper, stage 2. Even deeper. 3-stage inhalation. Exhaling out. And number 4. Inhaling stage 1. Deeper, stage 2. Deeper, stage 3. Deeper, stage 4. Exhaling out the whole body, washing that color like a radar, expanding it, washes the palms and fingertips. And we'll do one more, except we'll use belly, obliques, lower back, and the entire belly. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. Belly 1. Inhaling up. Obliques 2. Even deeper. Lower back 3. Even deeper. The entire belly 4. Even deeper. Exhale. Feel that color expand out to the body, even beyond. Exhalation is just as long as the inhalation, if not longer. And widen the stance. I'll adjust the camera. We're going to do shoulder length and a half apart. Feet. Ooh. Half horse stance. Half horse stance means you're not standing and you're not slightly bent. You're actually very bent, but not parallel to the ground, Shaolin style. So you don't need that Shaolin deep stance because we're going to hold these stances much longer. Now, inhale to the belly, hollow fists rested right on the hips. When you do that, look at my shoulders, you'll see tension, and you don't want that. So you're going to exhale, soften the tension out by relaxing the elbows, which softens the shoulder, right there. Now, once you feel that soft shoulder, your pelvis will rotate on the femur as you inhale deep and exhale. Inhaling up. Eyes on the belly button. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Eyes on the belly button. Inhaling up. Eyes on the belly button. The breath should feel like a rope that you're climbing. And then exhale and release it. And reverse it. And dropping the hands down. Inhale, breath lifts the wrist lift the body. Exhale to the palms and fingertips. Inhale deep. Exhaling down. You know what? We'll do a quick review, a very quick review with only one exercise each. You're supposed to do 6 to 12, if not more, of each exercise, of the moving breathwork exercises. But I want to just, because the last exercise is so specific, I want to make sure that we do a total ramp up to this exercise. So, because the exercise is meant to loosen and to release a lot of what you've gathered during the training. So that's why we're going to do all of the exercises, all 11, up to the 12th exercise. So we'll start now, inhaling up, exhale with the palms of fingertips. Inhale, gather, hollow fists, facing the ceiling. I have videos on all of these exercises out there already. I'll do the first 3 in more detail soon. Pelvis rotates on the femur as you exhale. Eyes looking straight down. Elbow in front of the eyes. Back flat like a table. Legs bent. Inhale to the belly. Exhale to the whole body. Inhale, open the hands. Exhale, reaching through the back. This is golden tortoise. Reach through the legs, straight back, palms to the ceiling. Lift your collarbone. If you find your upper back is bent, lift the collarbone, inhale to the belly. Spread the color to the whole body. Drop the hands down. Inhaling up. Coming up. Stay seated. Inhaling deep. This is embracing 1. Exhale, push the color to the palms and fingertips. Hold the breath. Try the palms up. Holding the golden bowl. Inhale, roll the color from toes to head. Exhale, head to heels. You've been taught the opposite breathing pattern for big orbit breathing, which is what this is called. Feel free to do heels to head, up the back, and head to toes down the front. That's totally fine too. Inhale deep, drawing only the wrist back. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Hands small on the back. Hold the breath and swallow your loud twice. Exhale. Massaging down. Inhaling up. Hold the breath. Swallow twice. Right palm over left. Second swallow, follow it all the way down. Visualize it going into the belly. Like a drop of water falling into a pond, creating ripple effects. Or even explode in slow motion as you inhale. Left hand comes over right. Both palms now facing down. Exhale down. And now one more. Inhaling stage one. Even deeper stage two. Exhaling down. Stage one. Exhaling stage two. Jade rabbit watches the moon. Now, white crane spreads its talons. Gentle grab. Crane fist. Inhaling. Massage the temple. Exhale, push forward in and out. Again. Massaging. Exhale. Push forward in and out. Inhale deep. Inhaling out. Even deeper. Clever cat catches the mouse. Even deeper. Eye and the middle finger, the hand. Oh my God. Hold, 1, 2. Exhaling down. Again. 1, 2. Energize the fingers. Even deeper. 3. 3-stage inhalation. 4. 4-stage inhalation. Hold the breath for 2 counts. Exhaling, drop. Inhaling up. Cracking the whip up the right. Exhale. Pushing the breath through the wrist. Eye and the middle finger. Inhaling in. Feel the heat go from the belly through the wrist. One more time each side. Inhaling. White egg pushes it away. Exhale, massage just under the ribs and push forward. Inhale, turning just the waist, nose, elbow, wall, alignment. Exhale. One more time each side. Sparrow pierces the clouds, inhaling up. The bottom hand, notice the elbow here. You push forward, it's going to soften even more. And inhaling up. The hand rests, almost like dead weight, but palm facing up, one palm facing down. Inhaling, eye on the extended finger. Exhale, pushing out, pulling in. And stay still, only the eyes move. One more time each side. And now, leading the sheep along. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. One more time each side. And now, from here, giant snake rolls over the fight. So the bottom hand scoops up across the hip, front of the shoulder, opposite shoulder. Even deeper inhalation. Exhaling 1, exhaling 2. Eye on the middle finger, breath pushes through the wrist intentionally, elbow downward. Press the elbows down, wrap it up. From here, here, elbow down, turning the palm up. Notice the elbow comes in even more. If the arm is locked, you free the arm, helping the wrist get free. Inhale deeper. Exhale, 1, 2. Palm up. Free the arm. 1, 2. One more time on each side. 1, 2. Inhale deep. Inhaling deep. Inhaling up. Eyes on the middle finger of the top hand. This is it. This is the 12th exercise. This is elephant swings its trunk. This is all potential energy, as my teacher, Sifu Keith Tong, would say. In fact, you can stand up on this first version. The breath, we'll start again. The breath lifts the wrists, and the wrists pull the hips. The propeller's going into the belly. The breath is controlling an invisible pulley system that breath pulls in on the wrist, as if you have strings attached to the wrist like a marionette. And then the wrists have strings attached to the hips, so the hips pull. And remember that added detail of the knee, that sometimes the hips pulling will pull pretty much all the time. The hips turning in a particular direction are going to pull the knee. So here, I do recommend pushing. Notice that my knee is now more stable, and that's because I'm emphasizing this separation in the groin area. I'm not just turning the hip, I'm opening the hip and pushing the knee forward. Opening the hip and pushing the knee forward, and you'll feel a little stretch on either side. Anytime you do this, my hands behind my back, anytime you do this, you'll feel a little stretch on either side. So the knee will move less than here if you just let it go freely. So that's the first detail, or major details. Inhaling up, breath lifts the wrist lift the hip, and then exhale, drop. The drop is straight down, and the hands go from potential energy to kinetic. And it's not a drop down, it's not a chop down, meaning a hard, intentional chop. It's a drop of instant relaxation, as if everything goes dead weight. The difference between this and dead weight is that visualization shoots through the fingers and the hands with the breath work. So you're inhaling up, the breath lifts the wrists pull the hips. You feel all this torque, all this coil, and then you uncoil. You allow everything to uncoil because everything wants to. And you just let the hands be pulled by that natural sensation of returning to the center. Again, on the other side, inhaling up, breath lifts the wrists lift the hips. Again, I'm not allowing my hips to turn without pushing my opening right here in the groin area. So I'm getting that little stretch down there. My hands are open and very relaxed. They're not completely dead. They're slightly activated. They're not fully activated. And then exhale, release. Everything wants to go back to center, and just let it happen. Inhaling up. When you exhale, you're chopping on the inside of the thigh. So this inside of the thigh chop has a brief moment of flex in the hand, very much like a karate chop, etc., or a kung fu palm. But you have a brief moment, and it's only a fraction of a second. So it's as if you're flexing the fist just before impact, an inch or two be before impact. Some people, like for example, the Shaolin Kempo school that I'm currently working with, they talk about skin kissing skin. So they don't flex, they don't add that tension into the hand until skin kisses skin, as they say. I normally do it an inch or two before. That's how I was trained, but I like what they're talking about, skin kisses skin. So anyway, inhaling up, breath lifts the wrist. And we'll do about 10 of these each side. And then we'll do the variation. Each side equals 1. Two things I want to talk about before we do the variation. One is the tailbone. So when you're doing this pump, inhaling up, dropping down, inhaling up, dropping down, inhaling up, very easy to allow that flex in the lower back to come back. When you're doing this, and my perspective is always, my personal perspective is always evolving on this stuff, because as it should for all of us. You know, you have to experiment and find out what works best for you. I was trained in Wu style to do my best to keep the weight on the heels and to maintain this softened back posture, meaning the tailbone drop, and to really do my best to maintain that the entire time. Of course, my foundational Wu style training did not have the level of rooting detail, which I got from Grandmaster William C.C. Chen. I got very different things that are equally as valuable, but integrated, they are more valuable. So certain mechanics in Wu style don't exist in Grandmaster William C.C. Chen's reverse Brigham Young style, vice versa. And the teachers would likely not agree on lots of things, which is okay. But I have to make all of that work for me, and it does work for me. And so what I'm getting at is that when I stand upward, sometimes I'm finding that my weight is shifting from my heels, which is the Wu style tradition, to the balls of my feet, and maybe even my big toe. That being said, again, I'm still in my own research on this, but I do my best to maintain softness in the back. And when I say softness, I don't mean complete total relaxation where there's no structure. I really mean minimizing the tension in the spine. So I'm going up. I'm doing my best to keep the tailbone down, to relax, and to feel the gentle coiling rather than any particular. If I can be mindful and soften in any posture, then I'm going to be mindful and soften. I want to utilize as little energy as possible to hold any posture. So if you find yourself locking up in certain ways here, I recommend really evaluating how you feel here. Meaning the elbows should be down. That is a tenet of Wu style. Remember, in the Wu style, the concept is arms like blades. So these chops happen all over Wu style. You're playing around and you're dropping. You might be dropping your weight on someone's chest or rolling that weight forward, but you're rolling the blade of the arm upward on their collar, on their rib cage. You might be going down to an arm. You might be trapping an arm, but all these little impact moments are happening even though it's soft and it feels heavy and hard to your opponent because of the body mechanics, the structure, and the intention, including that definitively puts people will feel it. It is like a cut in your on the bone. So it's really, really strong stuff. So make sure the elbows are down here. Make sure the shoulders are soft. Make sure that these shoulder blades disappear into the upper back. And once you have that posture, see how it feels in your hips. Can you drop the tailbone? Can you soften the weight in the kneecaps? If you are forward and out, what does it really require? Do you feel balanced if you are on your heels or the balls of your feet, the big toe? But really feel how that affects the kneecap and the ankle. So you want to ask yourself these questions. It's not a one-size-fits-all experience. You really do have to work with your own body and your own alignment of your bones. Everyone's got a different body, but there are general principles that you want to be able to engage. Again, doing your best to minimize the tension required to hold the posture. Keeping the shoulders down, shoulder blades disappearing in, meaning the scapula disappears and intensifies the circulation to the palms and fingertips. And you should feel the heat in the hands here. Again, this is done at the end of the 12 yin set. This is the last exercise. So you should feel all that energy built up. This is preparing you for the 12 yang set, which is done after you run the 12 yin, and where you expel a lot of energy. So 12 yin, you gather energy. 12 yang, you expel. Inhaling up, down. Inhaling up. Also, feel that pull. If the hands raise, it should affect the hip. If it affects the hip, it should affect the knee, meaning that you should be opening the groin intentionally. That little open here, meaning knee goes this way, groin, hip goes this way. Remember that chop and flex just before impact, and then you let it go. Chop and let go. So relax, 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 flex, boom, explosion, relax. Again, inhaling up. I'm slowing down just for a moment. And all of a sudden my hands flex for the impact as the breath work pushes through. The breath work pushes through the hands and the blades. I literally am visualizing like lightning shooting down my arms and cutting out and even going an inch or two farther beyond the palm of the fingertips as if it all goes down. And you want that breath work and the attention. Remember, the color visualization is a vehicle for your attention. And this will also condition the inside of the thighs in a wonderful way as well. It might be sore initially when you're doing this, but it definitely, over time, you get stronger, etc. So now let's go to the variation. Variation is, and normally you would do 6 of one, 6 of the other, 10 of one, 10 of the other, etc. Is hollow fists. And these hollow fists we've seen many times. Hollow fists on the first exercise. And if you do the 8 pieces of brocade, the 8 brocade, you might do an exercise with clenching fists with angry eyes where you squeeze gently. And you're going to have that gentle squeeze again. So this time we're going to stay seated though, dropping down. So we'll do one more set, and we go, boom, and we drop down. That's one more note that I'll add to that last before the variation is on the drop. So you want to feel as you return to the coil, as the coil returns you back to center, of course, that elevator drop of the hips, which we talked about many times in pretty much all the other exercises that have the movement and the breath coordinated. The overt movement, meaning the exhale, sink, and sit kind of stuff. You'll often have that elevator drop. And then when you start doing the exercise static, meaning without any drop, there's still the concept of the drop, even though the overt manifestation of it, physical manifestation isn't there, meaning that the drop still happens here. And it might just be a little softening of the tailbone, but the drop still happens here, even though I'm not going like that. So you want to be able to feel it in your body, the softening of the muscles, etc. So in this variation, again, the first one is overt, big drop. Now we're doing hollow fists, inhaling up. The breath lifts the wrists pull the hips. I'm checking in with my arms. It's my shoulder blade. Notice that I can extend much more. That's because I left this shoulder blade behind. So I have to make sure that I extend it out make sure I extend both out. Do I fully feel it without lifting my shoulders? My shoulder blades go forward without flexing the shoulders to lift them up. Right here, feel great, and then exhale. And just before impact, a gentle squeeze of the hands and the exhalation of the color visualization from the belly through the hands as if there's a big explosion of the hands. Again, exercise is called elephant swings his trunk. Yeah. Breathless the wrist pull the hip, adjust the knee, soften the shoulders, make sure the tailbone is down. Yeah. Now, with the elevator drop here, let's talk about this for a second, because I was just saying on the standing up version that you might want to experiment with when you're up, dropping the tailbone. But it's super important. You have to see how you feel there. But you have to also acknowledge, and this is part of my personal development in my personal experience and my personal work on developing my style of my interpretation of the Wu style Tai Chi, is that if I were to drop the tailbone here, I might be removing some potential energy from my experience. Meaning that when I go for the drop, I may get just that little bit of just a little bit less power because of the fact that I dropped the tailbone early. Because when you do these drops, and especially if you're doing it seated, part of the subtle mechanic is the softening of the tailbone on the drop, meaning that the quad, everything, washes downward with the attention feeling up. So when I do this drop, I feel a twist, I feel the waist, the hips, but I also know that my tailbone is twisted, my lower back, the muscles here are pulling in the same direction as my hands. So there's a twist this way and upward. So if I drop the lower back here, which I can, it's totally fine, but I also feel a little bit of a difference if I just let nature do what it does and the natural mechanic, and there might be a slight flex in the lower back, and then releasing that flex as I go down helps me with just a little bit more spiraling downward energy. It adds to the centrifugal force, and that's what we're really, that's one of the things you really want to achieve in any of these exercises is multiple circles working together in a system intentionally. So again, do your own experiments here, but in all of our exercises that we've been talking about, dropping the lower back right at the tailbone straight down right at the end is part of drawing power from the ground. So keeping that in mind, let's do 10 on each side. So I also want to talk about, before we wrap up, this is probably one of the shorter experiences we've done, because there's really these two variations that I know there could be more, but this has benefited me and other people for many, many years. One of the things I like to talk about in this with this concept is, we spoke about the chopping and how that relates to Wu style. But now we have to talk about how the fists relate to martial arts, and specifically the concept of ground and pound, which is very much an MMA concept, getting on top of a person and wailing fists down on you get in the mount, Brazilian jiu-jitsu mount, and you're wailing, or you might be standing over them and punching downward. And these are, I oftentimes, especially let's say if I'm fixing a pillow, this is probably a really practical idea, but I might have to fluff a pillow, and sometimes the pillow might be really, really big. My dad used to have these big pillows on the couch, and sometimes people would sit on them all weird, and I'd have to fluff them back. And rather than use my hands like this, I would punch these pillows in. And one of the things I would work on was feeling the difference. I'm not saying that there is a right way to do this yet, or an optimized way for MMA sports training for this, but I'm saying to experiment with this idea of softening the hand and letting gravity drop with it, rather than feeling that big flex here. And that doesn't mean that you can't hold this posture with the elbow up and still be soft, because you can. You can still minimize, you can hold any posture, doesn't matter if it's a quote unquote Tai Chi posture or not, and still bring a Tai Chi mentality to that posture. So you can still hold these and boom, crank, like really get those fists to go downward and to get all of that potential energy, soften in the arm, and then crashing in. You can still get that from any angle, regardless if it has the best practices of a particular style of Tai Chi in terms of posture. So I just want to open the mind to entertaining the idea of experimenting with fixing a pillow and what works best for you. Sometimes people, you'll see in MMA, they're using hammer fists to go on top of the opponent's head. So boom. So here, these are much more similar to hammer fists than they are to any other strike. These are very much downward hammer fist style, boom, movements. So I think it's really, really important to my son. He's 7. He's learning hammer fist now, and he's trying to hit me in the solar plexus, etc. These are really, really important techniques to learn. But how can you apply them? And of course, at the end of the day, negong, while it has a lot of martial application, is also meant to build power and strength, health, and longevity. So don't over obsess with these, or with the concept of making it practical to a particular application, but do experiment. Always recommend the experimentation. So with that said, let's go back to the original version, the first version. We'll do the variation again and wrap up. Inhale, breathless the wrist pull the hip. Separation between the hip and the knee. Chop it. Inhaling up. Soften the shoulder blades, scapula going forward and up. 2 more each side. Now seated hollow fist. Now breathless the wrist pull the hips. Even a little drop in the tailbone. Two more each side. And feel yourself being pulled back to center. One more each side. sure that breath work is downward, visualization, downward. And you might start to feel a little bit of a reaction in the kneecaps, in the knees themselves, and the muscles around it. If you do this for too long, I pretty much have never done this exercise for this long. Again, this is something that I don't teach with this level of detail. I've just analyzed it for so many years that I can speak on this. So I'm happy to do this. I love it. So that being said, the finishing exercises, maybe we'll do another video that just focuses on the finishing exercises of the 12-minute set. But we're going to go over it quickly here, briefly here, is inhaling up and left hand over the right, right hand over the left, right, left hand over the right, and inhale to the belly. And you're going to exhale, and you're going to visualize pushing the color down each arm and through both palms. If you're in Dragon Ball Z or any anime, and you think about the concept of blasting energy through the hands and fingertips, you can think about that here, except we're going to just create a shape. Remember the visualization, the breath work and the visualization. Visualization is, breath work motivates the visualization, which is a vehicle for your attention. You want the attention to take shape. You want to push the attention through the hands like it's a spoon in a pot. The belly is the pot. The visualization that you're pushing out of the hand into the pot is like that big spoon. Again, push light through the hands, and you're going to start right on the belly button. And you're going to go clockwise. And you're going to be seated in the half horse stance. Every inhalation fills up the belly. Every exhalation pushes through the hands. And you're going to go 36 times each time the circle gets bigger and bigger. The circle will never go past the line of the rib cage or the line of the hips. You're just going to stay on the belly. You're going to keep getting bigger and bigger, 36 times, staying on the belly. And you really want to zone in on these. Be as silent as you can, mouth closed, tongue on the ceiling of the mouth. Even softening the tailbone, softening the knees again, weight on the heels. Imaginary string lifts you from the top of the head. You're correcting your posture as you do this, and then return to the operation, the main operation. Once you get to 36, you're going to reverse it. Each circle is going to get smaller and smaller. So now you're going counterclockwise. And once you get right back to the center, you're going to take your hands, hollow fists, and you're going to do gentle banging. Start with the left hand. The banging is going to happen just below the lower dantian, or just below the belly button on the lower dantian, 3 finger lengths below. And you're going to bang just on the belly. But the thing you're going to be looking for is a gentle, you're going to pay extra attention to a gentle bouncing back, meaning that the muscle receives the pressure from the gentle fist and then pushes it back. And you want to give extra attention to that pushback. That doesn't mean that you are going to focus on pushing your belly out, because that's a different technique. You want to help the belly develop that natural pushback sensation, the natural bounce. And you do it 10 times. And then you switch hands, hollow fist on the right side. Notice how I just soften my elbow as well. So I pull all the way back, softening the elbow. 10 times. And you cycle that 3 times. So go back to this, big, and then reverse it small, and then 10, and then 10. Then you do it again, big, small, 10, and 10. And that's how you end the 12 yin set, or almost how you end. Then once you finish that, fingers together. So here, just the final bang, inhaling up, fingers together, exhale, diving forward. This diving forward is pelvis rotating on the femur. So on the side, inhaling up, just the fingertips now. This is very different than before. There's a switch, a very conscious switch in how we're training in terms of what's being lifted. So before we were lifting the wrists pretty much the entire time. Now we're lifting the fingertips. Inhaling up, just the fingertips lift up. Again, just the fingertips lifting, not the wrists, the fingertips, fully energized hand. They come together in prayer position. And then exhale, pelvis rotates on the femur as if you're diving forward. Diving forward. And from here, there's a bunch of massaging that happens. And we'll do a specific video on these, on the massages. We're going to massage on the ankles and going up the shins, pushing the muscle on the shin aside, going up. Also on the tibia, pushing it to the side, outward, and dig the fingers underneath what the part of the muscle that was hidden, the part of the bone that was hidden by the muscle. Massage up. You'll find a bunch of pressure points there. Massage on the kneecaps while keeping the weight on the heels. Inhaling into the belly. As you do this and exhaling, pushing the color through the palms, filling the kneecaps with that warm color. Visualization. You're going to take the hands and you're going to go on the opposite side. You can do it both legs at once, but we'll do just one. And you're going to take the middle finger or the index finger, and you're going to put it across the center line of your kneecap. Put the other 3 fingers around, just under, other 2 fingers. So you only have 3. I'm hiding my pinky. And the middle finger will wrap around the side and massage the soft part of the kneecap. You're going to do this on both sides. I often do it simultaneously. And then you massage in the opposite direction. Whatever you were doing before, reverse it. And then massage back down. Back down the shins. Pushing the muscle on the tibia to the side, going all the way down. Massage the ankles, tops of the feet, down to the toes. And then you're going to slap up. Slapping. Slapping down. Slapping up the inside, slapping down. Slapping up the outside, slapping down. And then slapping up the back. Gentle chopping at the lower back and slapping back down. Using the backs of my hands, the front of my hands, I'm not chopping. And from here, now truly finishing up. From here, inhaling up the fingertips, and this final movement, which is part of the closing ceremony, is called Ocean of Blood Returns to the Source. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Just the fingertips again. Inhaling up, the fingertips lift the hand and the arm. Exhaling down, and you sink and sit. You can also stay seated. Or 2 more. And that is the 12th exercise of the 12 yin instead of negong. Of course, anytime you finish negong, you want to stretch, you want to give yourself massages. But of course, that massage we just did is totally sufficient for a wonderful finishing massage. We often do our hands and head, and we'll do maybe a second of that. But always stretch. I make sure to not allow myself to consider my training done unless I've done at least 1 stretch, if not 3. And if I can do more, that's awesome. But we'll do 2 uplifting heavens, which is great for helping to get the spine, shoulders, and hips aligned again. Feeling tall, bring the feet 2 fists apart. Grasping the toes, this is called breath lifts the wrist, wrist lifts the body. Fingers to the back wall, chest to the ceiling, restore, middle of the toes, exhale, butt back, fingers forward. Soften the knees, inhaling up. Fingers to the back, chest up, hips forward, middle of the toes, exhale, butt back, fingers forward. Soften the knees, inhaling up, exhaling out. And bring it up, in, eyes on the 1 foot forward, exhale, down, inhaling up, switch, another foot forward, exhale, down. Inhaling up, switch, 45 degrees. Inhaling up, switch, 45. Inhaling up, switch, 90 degrees. Inhaling up, switch, 90. Inhaling up. Down the front, both legs. Onto your toes to the side. Wash and curl it down. Other side, toes down. Inhaling up from the back. Washing down the backs of the legs. And just rub the hands together. And for the hormones, squeeze the chin. Just do a couple of face massages. Taking off the hat, up on the face to the side, up on the face to the side, up on the face to the side, fingers to the back, back to front, fingers on the scalp, front to back to front, one more. And massage the scalp, front to back to front, slapping, front to back to front, hollow fist, gentle banging, front to back to front. Grab the scalp, knead it like dough, release, another patch. 2, 3, release, another patch. 1, 2, 3, release, another patch. Release, and then reverse it. Really don't miss these opportunities. You always want to take the opportunity to move the good circulation around the body into places that it's necessary. Up, over, down, under, very strong pressure. From the ears, under the eyes, for the heart. Top and bottom, switch, sides, above the teeth, both gums, and below, just under the teeth and gums, and the tongue, and reverse it. Flick the fingers out, thumbs, and 1, 2, 3, close, 1, 2. And close the eyes, inhale, white light into the belly, spread through the whole body. Inhale, front of the body, white light, like a tidal wave, foot to head. Exhale down the back, head to heels, like a waterfall. Inhale, white light up the left side. Exhale, roll down the right side. Inhale, white light to the belly. Exhale, push it down the legs into the ground, let it come back up and around like a fountain in reverse. Get a bigger bubble around you. Inhale to the belly. Exhale, all around. Make a big bubble around the body from the top of the head outward, expanding that white light all around you, in the room or whatever environment you're in. As if you're expanding your attention, expanding your awareness, feeling everything full of that light. Have gratitude for the body, for the space, for the good people in your life. And thank you. As usual, I am once again Coach Jan Lucanus, and this has been Justice for Hire's Tai Chi to the People, and it happens every week. And next year, we're gonna do it even bigger. So it's gonna keep on being of value and of service. That's what it's really all about. You can join Justice for Hire, the cast of the show, and become part of the show on justiceforhire.app. You can donate to @everytown on Instagram, @everytown. And you can invest in Real World, the company that our production company that's producing their technology studio, producing Justice for Hire on wefunder.com/realworld, REELWURLD, because you're in it. That's the whole point. And we love you guys. Always feel free to ask questions. You can follow my YouTube channel at that's Coach Jan's Tai Chi. push hands, sports Tai Chi push hands, or youtube.com/world push hands. And of course, this always goes on both my channel and youtube.com/justice for hire. And always feel free to ask questions. And we love you guys. And we'll see you next week.